Welcome to the podcast of Arturo and Silvia Escobar, a couple married for over 40 years and proud parents of 6 children who have dedicated their lives to serving and training families in the Illinois area. As realtors, their mission is not only to help you find your dream home or invest in real estate, but also to provide fresh and practical information that benefits our community. In each episode, Arturo and Silvia share tools, tips, and resources to strengthen families both financially and personally, including marriage courses that inspire couples to stay strong and committed. They also feature special guests who contribute valuable knowledge for the growth of your family and your future. This is a space created for you to inform, inspire, and accompany you on the journey towards your dreams. Welcome. This is Cafecito con los Escobar, the podcast.
Welcome everybody to one more edition of Cafecito con los Escobar. And in this month, we have something very special for you. Due to the fact that this is the month of gratitude, that we all celebrate traditionally the month to give gratitude to the Lord, we have a treat for you. We have a couple that we have known for a few years that they've been going through, or they went through, and they have been going through some situations in life that we admire and we respect what you have been going through. And we want you to share your story for so many people out there who also are going through difficult times. We want to bring a different prospect of how in the middle of the situations you can still be grateful, and how faith and how community help you go through difficult times. So thank you for being here. This is gonna be a treat for all of you, and we are so grateful that you are here.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
So let's start with just hearing a little bit about you guys. Tell us a little bit about where you're from, and I would love to hear the story about how you met again, but that's probably for another time. But let us know a little bit more about you guys, because you guys have an amazing
You want to
story.
start or I start? I'll start. Well, my name is Carlos. A lot of people call me Charlie. I was born and raised in Chicago, Humboldt Park area. Logan Square, Humboldt Park area. I was there since the age of 22. I moved out here, where I met my wife at a church retreat. There's 2 different stories of that one, but that's for another time.
Yeah.
But yeah, growing up in Chicago, Hispanic family, Latino family, just growing up in a neighborhood where there was different cultures, Polish, Black, Puerto Rican, Mexican. It was all never seen nothing different, but it was just all one bunch of people just having fun.
Awesome.
Nice.
And I'm Esther, and I was born, raised, and still live in Elgin, but I am half Mexican and half Puerto Rican, so
Nice.
I'm multicultural.
Both of
Best
good
of
worlds.
Yeah.
Both are good.
Best of the foods and everything.
Yeah.
It's like awesome.
Yes.
Thank you. So when we think about like your story, one of the main parts of a very difficult season that you guys went through, right? If you could tell us about, some of those health struggles that you guys had, that you had, Charlie, and just tell us a little bit about like how you found out what was it that it was, and what was those initial days for you?
Well, I remember the first time I'm diabetic. So when I used to go see my kidney doctor, my renal doctor, he started saying, "Hey, you have to be careful. Your kidneys are getting low." But one time when I went to the doctor, I was in there and he checked my blood pressure. It was high. He was like, "No, you're going to the hospital." And in the hospital is when they told me, "Okay, man, your kidneys are very low. They're 25%. So in that moment, we're like, "Okay, what do I do?" So in that moment, I had to change the way I eat, but I was not having. They just told me you can't have this and this and this, and that's how what they tell you. But it came to a moment where I was like, no, there has to be another another way to take care of myself. So I think we found this renal doctor. My sister actually sent the Instagram and said, you need to look into this doctor that takes care of nutrition. And she helped us what to eat and what not to eat. And to get to that program, you had to pay $1,500. And I remember at that time, I was working at a place where I had to clean a car, and I found $1,500. And it was easier for me to just keep it, but I told my boss, hey, I found this money. And he goes, oh, we have to give back to the person that donated the car. And I was like, okay. So we are back. Friday came, and the person that, he was a retired cop. And he goes, hey, I came to pick up something that I left in the car. And oh, you're the one that lost $1,500. Like, yeah, I left it there. And I forgot all about it. Like, I didn't even know I left it. And so I started talking to him about what I'm going through. Like, I just, it would have been easy for me to keep it. Like, yeah, it was easy for you to keep it, right? But your spirit told you not to keep it, right? You felt like you had to go. Like, yeah. You're like, okay, for being that honest, I'm going to give you $700. And again, it's where God meets you in the middle. And it reminds me of the story about the two disciples walking towards the Emmaus Road. And Jesus comes in the middle, didn't recognize them. And that reminds me of God always meets you in the middle, where he says, I'm with you. And in that moment, they say, okay. So it was easy for us to get the $700 and $700 that we had, and paid it, and taught me how to eat, what to eat. And it lasted for 1.5 years, right? And so I had
because at one time, when he was diagnosed and told, he actually fainted. All I heard was like the big thump in the bathroom. And I'm like, what? Because he wasn't eating.
So they don't malnutrition.
He had entered malnutrition because he was eating bread and drinking water. Like there was no nutrients to help him out.
So that's why we had to find somebody to teach us what to eat. And when I found that person, it was God sent, because she was like, no, you can have that. No, you still can go to McDonald's. But I haven't had McDonald's in a while, so yeah.
So you learned at one moment the kidney went bad at one point, totally not working.
So in that moment when we found out that the kidney was, I think God was preparing me for that moment. I think we went to the doctor again, and he was like, Carlos, you're going to have to do dialysis already, because your kidneys are functions going more low. It was getting to 15, I think. Yeah, 15.
Yeah, you were done.
But it was 1.5 years. So they don't, and that's a 1.5 years without doing the dialysis. And so he was like, Carlos, you need to get dialysis. In that moment, I was like, oh, okay, I'm ready. I think God prepared me for that moment. It's like, yeah, you're ready. Okay.
Because at that moment, you guys received the news of that you needed a transplant.
Yeah, but I needed to start with dialysis
To wait
first for the kid. So
Yeah.
when that happened, I was like, okay, I'm ready. And again, remembering how Moses said to God, hey, if you don't go with me, I'm not going. So I told that moment, I told God, I'll do this, but you have to be with me. And God was there. So the dialysis started. 2 weeks later, they operated me to give me my port to do the dialysis.
So that moment when the doctor said he's going to need a kidney transplant, a whole process started, right? That lasted for a while.
Oh yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the process and how you guys handled that emotionally, spiritually, and relational.
Yeah, so when we got the diagnosis that he was going to need a kidney transplant, part of the waiting process is to then be on dialysis. And we decided to do dialysis at home. So I went from just being his spouse to now being his caregiver and the nurse that would be doing his treatments. And so we just had to really lean into each other. We had to lean into our faith. In order to look at the future and know that this was going to be our new normal in the process, because dialysis can take time. So the national average here in Illinois for anyone with non-Charlie's blood type is 3 to 5 years. because of Charlie's blood type, we were looking at 5 to 10 years.
And considering that you were thinking 5 to 10 years, how did you keep hoping when hope is far away?
I think I can answer that question. I think in the process of dialysis, and again, I put God first no matter what because He's the one that gave me the strength to go through this. He started giving me words of encouragement every week. There was grace, and there was the grace was the most important one where Paul tells God, you gave me, God gave him a thorn. And Paul goes, hey, take this away from me. 3 times he begged him. He said, no, but my grace is sufficient. He said, when you are weak, you are strong. And that was for the first word he gave me. Then he gave me a bunch of worship. I haven't written down, but he gave me like around 7, 8 words of encouragement in that moment. And I was like, okay, God, you're with me. The moment was, very difficult sometimes, I think, waiting. And going through the process, going through the test and everything. But once everything went through, I was like, okay, God, I'll just wait. We'll just wait.
And the process meant preparing for receiving the transplant in the future. And you decided to also to put that on Facebook. How did that happen?
So our hope would be that we would find a live donor, because then the waiting time is cut down to whatever time it takes for the donor to go through the process, because he had to go through a process of almost what we said 6 to 9 months of being prepped to get the kidney, and the donor would have to go through a process and blood work and tests.
It's a lot of tests, do the heart test, they make sure your heart's okay. If it's not, they put a stent and so they do a lot of stuff. And again, going back to the question you said is like, the community too. The community was there. Our pastors, our community in church, we were there to be with us, and that was very important too. But going through the process of again doing the test, just going to Chicago, doing this, doing that, but seeing God in the process of everything. That okay, everything's good. Okay, you're good. Okay, we keep on waiting to the right moment.
So our hope was that there would be someone touched by a post on Facebook or Instagram, because I posted on both my social medias. That our hope was that somebody would be a match.
And that hope came alive at one point. How did you guys feel when somebody, an amazing person, came through and he said, I want to do this. I want to give you a kidney?
I remember the moment that happened, but going back when we started working at a job that we had, I met this person in at work. Her name is Nancy, and I started this conversation with, hey, why don't you go to the Spanish service? She said, and then I was like, okay. Then all of a sudden she started joining us, and that's when we started the relationship with this person. But we didn't know that God was gonna use that person or the husband to give me this kidney. And I think that's where I was like, okay. When we got the news, Esther put it on Facebook and Instagram. We were at a friend's house, just hanging out, and the message came in and said, hey, there's want to be a donor. Moment we cried, we were happy, we celebrated, and I was like, okay, the process starts. And I started sharing to people, hey, somebody wants to donate, but again, we don't know because you have to wait until all the tests are done. And of course, my blood type is a rare blood type where I can give, but only receive one type.
Yeah. So our hope was just really, we were grateful that somebody would even take the initiative to do it.
Yes.
Just that alone was giving us hope that hopefully it was this person, but if not, there'd be somebody like that. And just being grateful for the possibility at that moment. Like we were just grateful for the possibility that we weren't going to wait the 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And seeing God's provision, God's hand working and everything. It was just awesome. Just experiencing it. And I would not wish on nobody what I went through because it's very, very hard.
Wow. One of the things that that's near and dear to my heart is Esther, your experience as Charlie is going through this very difficult experience, right? And 20 years ago or so, Arturo, when our kids were very young, Arturo went through a sickness where they weren't able to tell us what was wrong with him immediately. They were just able to tell us, hey, so he's dying, and we don't know what he's dying from. And he was progressively getting worse, you know, and people knew that we were asking for prayers, and we were asking for, and our community rallied around us as well. And I remember, you know, people, every time people would see me, they would ask, how is Arturo doing? How is Arturo doing? How is Arturo doing? And of course, I was very grateful that they were asking for him. But sometimes I felt like I needed somebody to ask how I was doing and be able to talk about that. So tell me about your experience. Tell us about your experience as you are going through all of this in different stages, right? It is required of you, the work. Like you turn into a nurse, right? And you're helping him with the dialysis and all of that stuff. How was your experience, and where did you find your strength and your faith?
Well, it's weird you say 20 years ago, because 20 years ago, in the best form, a naive 20-year-old took vows that for better or worse, for sickness or in health. And so 20 years ago, I made that commitment not knowing what the future would hold. And here we are having to face a health crisis. I'm grateful that I had people around me, those that surrounded me, that would ask me. They would always ask me, hey, how's Charlie? Or we'd start just a random conversation, and I'd end up saying, oh, well, Charlie's going through this. Oh, we had this for Charlie. And then they would stop me, and they would ask, but how are you? And I had to catch myself that I would talk a lot about Charlie, and my focus was on him and his health. But I'm grateful that I had people that were kind of blunt or kind of upfront and said, no, wait, what about you? Like, what are you going through? You know, because there are times where you just want to give up. It becomes a lot to, like I said, go from a spouse to a caregiver to the nurse who's actually doing the treatments. And so I'm grateful for those that surrounded me that confronted me about actually speaking about myself and how I was feeling, because you do tend to put yourself second.
Yes.
And you just focus on whatever's in front of you. So I'm grateful that I had people that actually like forced me to think about myself.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that you would think it doesn't matter, but the thank you, or the thank you for doing this, thank you for being, like, because there are moments where you're just ready to give up, and you have to lean into each other, and he was able to.
Yes.
That's such a great point, because gratitude isn't just about being grateful to God, but being grateful to the people, or being grateful for the people around you that are sustaining you, that are being that caring person around you, right? And we all need that. We all need people who be around us, and being grateful for them is also such an important thing, because sometimes we take people for granted, right? Especially like in couples, we take each other for granted. But really being there for each other and being grateful for each other is such an amazing, relational, healthy thing, right? To be grateful for each other. So that's a really great point. I love that. You guys know, as we do, that people are going through really hard times these days, right? They're whether it be being fearful about what's going on with immigration, whether it be about a job that they're not sure if they'll have tomorrow, or whether it be financial, marital, family, when a kid going through a hard time. There's so many things that people are maybe watching right now and thinking, yeah, but my situation is this, right? And it could be a health situation. What would you guys tell someone about, what advice would you give them? What counsel, what hope would you give them in whatever situation that they're in?
I mean, if I think about it, my biggest thing and what kept me in that specific situation, but also in other situations we faced over the last 20 years in our marriage and life situations, is looking at the positive glimpse that you have. So whether it's a moment during the day or something that happened during the week, that's where I grab my strength from to kind of like store it for those moments where you feel like you're ready to give up. This is not going to work out. Like you said, whether it's unfortunately with everything we see on the news with immigration, incomes because, people are losing their jobs or companies are closing. Or if you're facing a health issue that luckily, like Charlie's situation, for the most part, there's a way out. Like you get a transplant, you do dialysis, you'll get a transplant. But there's people facing other health issues that are more terminal, and you don't have maybe the hopes is taking those little glimpses as your energy source for the hard times. It's like looking for the good in every moment.
My point of view, or my suggestion may help somebody. It's just surrendering yourself to Christ. I think He's the one that always helps you in the situations. For me, I surrender my life to Him and say, God, whatever you have. Even right now, in this moment that I'm going through my my 2 operations that I had, my hernia and my appendix, they took out my appendix, right? My appendix out. My toe thing is just surrendering to Him and letting Him be the one that takes control. A lot of people are going through immigration, health issues, and all that. We pray to God to do His will. And understanding His will is very hard sometimes. It's very hard. But understanding that He's in control, it's very easy to say it. It's easy to say, oh, let it be His will. And sometimes His will is going through tough times. To be grateful, have faith. I think that's one thing that I've been not dealing with, but God's been telling me, hey, have faith. Let your faith grow. And I remember the story with Peter and Jesus walking in the water. And Peter said, let me walk to you. Yeah, he had faith to do it. But in that moment that he maybe took his eyes off Christ or whatever it was, he sank. But God reached that hand and said, I'm with you. And knowing that God was with me and me just surrendering to Him in this time, and this time process and in this time of restoration, I think it's time that God's telling me, hey, I'm taking you through this process because I'm doing something new with you. And I'm like, okay, let's go through it. But one thing I can recommend to you guys is just find Christ. Surrender your life to Him. And I'm not saying it's easy. It's not easy being a Christian or being a follower of Christ, because that's where He really will test you. And your faith, your everything in you, He'll test. And He'll be like, hey, surrender to me. I'll take care of it. And just let Him walk with you. Let him walk with you, and just let Him be the Father that He wants you, that He wants to be to you.
Yeah, we live in a very difficult world, right? And we're all going to go through difficult times. And what a great thing, what a great reminder to know that in those difficult times, God walks with us and He wants to be there for us. And so that's a really good. And everything that you guys have mentioned, from having community, from having faith, from going through hard, everything that you pulled out are things that you're grateful for, because you remember them with gratitude, right? And so that's really good to be able to remember those moments, right? Those glimpses of good things that you can pull out of all of the experiences that you have. That's great.
And it is incredible, and it's so good to know that your story ended with the transplant that went perfect, and that you had given an opportunity to keep living.
Yeah.
It's through a person, through a brother that came through, and has helped you in an incredible way. And some stories may not end up that way. And when we say surrender, we mean, God, I'm giving you everything, and whether this ends up the way I want it or the way you want it, I'm okay with it, and I'm going to be grateful. Because Jesus said in this world we will have problems, we will have issues to deal with. But our faith is that He walks with us, and He will be there whenever we need it the most. Guys, thank you so much for sharing your story. I know it comes from your heart. I know that you've been blessed in an incredible way, and the story continues. And probably we'll have a next appointment in a couple of years.
Updates.
What's next for the Charlies, right?
But we are so grateful that you've been sharing your story. It's an incredible story, and our hope is that this will get to people that need it, and will find hope in the middle of their situation, no matter what they're going through.
Thank you again. Yeah, that's the hope that it'll bring people. It'll help people get ready for a time of gratitude by also finding the glimpses, whatever their situation may be. So thank you. So for those of you who are listening, don't forget to like and subscribe for this podcast so that you will be notified when the next podcast comes out. And we're going to be having our next webinar. Some of you joined us last month for the class on how to do fix and flips. The next webinar in English is going to be December 9th, and we'll have the link below so that you can register for that. And then in December, we will also have our next podcast. Arturo and I, for those of you who don't know, have spent, probably had the privilege of doing around 30 years of coaching families and marriages in times of crisis, and also in just giving them tools to manage some of the things, some of the problems, the everyday problems, and some difficult problems in their families. And so we have a large toolbox of things that we have learned along the way. And we thought that in December would be a great time to kind of share some of that, including our personal story. At some point early in our marriage, Arturo and I were thinking about getting divorced. And we'll share about what led to that, what made us change our mind, and then how things have worked out since. We'll share some of the tools that have worked for us, and then some of the tools that we have shared with other couples as well. So join us next month as well, and we'll be talking about that. Thank you so much for being here. If you think of a subject for next year that you would like to would like to be included in the podcast, please share it with us. And remember that we are here to serve you. So have a great day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, and happy Thanksgiving for everybody.
Yes.